Hey Dave, you know something? I think you do a lot of good, but there's one place that I don't agree with you at all. And I think it's important that I disclose it in this video. So if you want to know why I don't agree with Dave, stay tuned. Hey, Frank Thomas here from Wealth Generation Strategies. Today I'm going to be talking about a topic which I know it's going to upset a few people. I just know it's going to, but it's something that's bothered me for a very long time. So I've decided to take a video and just talk about it. And it's regarding Dave Ramsey and his baby steps that he talks about and he advocates in his show and all his literature of how to go from broke to rich. There is one place in his teachings that I feel that it's very flawed. Now, it's not flawed from the point of view of being sound advice. It's flawed because we're humans, and it's because of that. We're flawed. And I've got to unpack this one to let you understand what I'm getting at. So let's just take a look and review what Dave Ramsey's baby steps are. And hopefully I'm not breaking any copyright or anything like that. If you want to, you can go online and look it up yourself. But here, let's start off here. First off, he says, create a $1,000 emergency fund. There, I 100% agree. Let's get emergencies out of the way and put $1,000 away. That's really important. Now, this is where I feel that this is not right. The second baby step he talks about is pay off all your debt with the exception of your mortgage. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it, and I have a reason, because we're humans. But let me get through the rest of the steps here so I can fill in all the blanks. The third step is save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. I agree with that too. That's really important. Invest 15% of your household income in retirement. Again, very important. 15% is actually the optimum number if you have time to invest. Now, if you don't have time, this doesn't work for you as well, and I'll touch into that near the end. The fifth point is save for your children's college fund. Again, it's an important thing. Number 6 is pay off your home early, and finally, number 7 is build wealth and give. Now, I feel in some ways he's got all the building blocks. All the building blocks are there, but I know human nature. Okay, I'm 60 years old. He's an old guy too. I'm an old guy. I have been following a lot of what Dave Ramsey's talking about for a very long time. And I found that it didn't work in one place for sure. And it was point number 2, which was pay off all your debts. In other words, he's advocating that you put your $1,000 emergency fund away. 100% agree with. Number 2, pay off all your debts. Don't save, pay your debts off. Now, here's the problem with that. It's mindset. We have to eventually get to a place where we have gotten this mindset where we learn to save. And saving is more important than going and buying that next widget or buying that next thing, that whatever it is. And until we get beyond that mindset, we'll never save. And I get in what I like to call the debt cycle. Let me explain what the debt cycle is. What happens is, my wife and I, we had a mortgage on our house, which we were paying, which was great. But we also had a small line of credit, which we would use to cover emergencies. We wouldn't rack up credit cards, we'd rack up our credit line. Of course, we tried saving an emergency fund on several occasions, and I saved $1,000 on several occasions, and an emergency comes along and it's gone, and the emergency is usually more than $1,000, and why he advocates to save 3 to 6 months expenses in an emergency fund, it's really important. But here's the problem here, is this darn debt cycle. Until we see the power of saving, we will not save. Until we have definitive proof in front of our faces and we become believers in saving, we will not save. Paying off debt doesn't count. It's nice to pay debt off. Hey, I've been debt-free on several occasions. I'm debt-free right now with the exception of my mortgage. And it's a wonderful feeling because most of my income goes to saving, not to debt. And at one time it was the other way around. Most of my income went to debt and I didn't save anything. And it really sucks. It's really defeating. But if you're not saving something, if you're not creating that initial nest egg. Now, here's what I advocate. And I'm sorry, Dave, I don't agree with you here because this is the problem. You need to see results. You start to save let's say in the beginning you have $400 that you can put towards step 2 to pay off your debt snowball. So you'll take 300 of it or 200 of it and start paying that debt off. Okay, start making it go away, and don't rack up any new debt. I 100% agree. But take the other $200 and build an investment account. Start investing so you can watch those numbers go up. Let me tell you something. Once you've saved $1,000 there, it's not very much, but it's like, wow, yeah, look at that, I saved it. You'll find that the universe will conspire to help you out, because now you're starting to shift your mindset from being one of getting things and buying stuff to make yourself happy to saving to make yourself happy. Big, big difference. And until you make that shift, you will never get out of debt. You'll continue the debt cycle, and that's why I don't agree with Dave. That's the big point right there. I say take half of what you can put away, start paying that debt off. Absolutely, get the highest interest debt, make it go away. I completely agree with that. But take the other half and put it towards your investment. Even more especially if you are older. You've already lost. Time is such a powerful force when it comes to increasing your investments. If you have at least a 15-year window, you can see the power of compound interest. It's amazing. But if you haven't got a 15-year window, let's say you're 60 and realizing, wow, I still got a lot of debt and I've got nothing saved, what do? You need to save your face off. Even if you have a lot of debt, you need to save your face off, and you need to rethink and become very radical and find ways to pay that debt off. Even if it means you got to downsize like no tomorrow and sell 3 cars and a boat and all the other crap you've picked up over the years, that's what you got to do. It really depends on your time frame. The shorter the time frame, the more I advocate step number 2 should be saving and less paying that debt off. Yes, you always pay more in interest and debt, but you don't see the satisfaction of actually saving unless you save. You got to save. When I had made a commitment to myself that I was going to save $100,000 as fast as I can, I expected it to take me 3 or 4 years to do this. So when I started saving, it took me 3 months to save $10,000. It was grueling, and I found money anywhere and everywhere, but I saved. It took me 3 months to save $10,000. My first month, I literally only saved $1,000 because I had to have $1,000 to open up the account. So I dug through the drawers and put change together to find that $1,000 because it was that important to me. It was, in my life, saving was becoming that important to me. So it took me 3 months to save that first $10,000. Now an incredible thing happened. By the time I had struck almost 9-10 months, I had saved $70,000. Now how did I do that? I started to get really down and dirty. I started digging and looking for money anywhere I could. I sold things that I wasn't using. I cleaned out all my crypto wallets that were kind of lying around, not doing anything for me. I had a few meager investments sitting in other places and put them all together so I could manage them in one place. And it made a difference. Man, when I struck $70,000, I was like, wow, this is incredible, because now I could start seeing, and this is the important thing, I could start seeing that I was making dollars every single month and not pennies anymore on my investments. It's exciting. There's some ETFs I'm invested into right now that I get a dividend check every month for hundreds of dollars from that. It's incredible. Like, my fund is paying more than I'm putting into it right now. I've struck that point, but I've also saved well over $100,000. Like, I'm close to $125,000 right now. It gets exciting, and it makes me want to save more and invest more and put more away. So Dave, I'm sorry, I don't agree 100% with your point of getting rid of debt. Getting rid of debt, hey, is important. You got to get rid of that debt. I was in a fortunate situation. I got radical and I changed everything up, and I sold my house. Remember, I was saying earlier in the video that sometimes you just got to get radical. I had to get radical, and I sold my house, and I took a lot of the profits from my house and paid all my debt off. My car was paid off. All my small debts from credit cards was paid off. I closed all my credit lines and never to get them again. I haven't got them again. I had never had one again for the last 3 years. And it's made an incredible difference. So I think that it's really important for you to see the value of your saving. Now I'm starting to see the snowball of investing. Wow. Hey, it's cool to have a debt snowball, but it's more cool to have an investment snowball. At the same time, you're going to discover that as you're saving and once you've accrued a certain amount, now if you've got a nice big time window, let's say you're 25 or 30 years old and you're saving for the next 30 years, whatever you save in the first few years is going to be worth many times its value in 30 years. If you spent that time paying off debt, you've lost that time on those investments and it's never going to come back. And the rest of the world is right. Those expenses are probably higher interest than your investments are ever going to make. But you need to see, you need to witness saving in action and what it does for you. It's exciting. Every month I see my account raised by at least $1,000 a month, all by itself. That's an amazing feeling. And I can see over time that it's going to be able to take care of me. It's going to provide enough income just in dividends to cover all my expenses. We have the cash flow game from Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it talks about getting onto Easy Street. I'll be on Easy Street when that happens. When I have matched all my expenses, life is good. Now, another thing happens too, is you have less desire to spend money when you're saving. Your desire becomes saving and not spending money. And I've been kind of saying this through the whole video. Saving now becomes so important to you that you'll see something and go, don't really need it. And an incredible thing happens. It's not that you don't go and buy things in life. You still enjoy life, but you budget for it. And this is one place I do agree with Dave 100%. You budget for it. If you don't have a budget, then you are a disaster waiting to happen. I'm just going to be blunt. You have budgeted for it and that's okay. But when you haven't budgeted, you go to see something and you kind of go, oh, that's great. You know, like I got a really good example for you. I have a 2-year-old Google Pixel 6. So it's not the newest phone. Hey, would it be nice to have the latest and greatest phone? Yeah. Is it more important to me than saving $1,000? No, it's not. Saving that $1,000 is more important to me because this phone works just fine. It does everything I need and I don't need to go get the latest and greatest. Now, if I didn't have any money and my only excitement came from getting the latest and greatest, then I'd probably go buy the phone and I wouldn't save that $1,000. But now saving has become more important to me. Now, one day this phone's gonna break. One day this phone's gonna fail, and that's when I'm gonna replace it. But I've already got the money put away to just go buy another phone. And I'll go and buy cash. Okay, that's one thing that Dave talks about extensively. And I totally agree with that. Cash, baby, cash is king. Hopefully this helps you. Hopefully this answers some questions because I always struggled initially with the advice that was given by Dave Ramsey when it comes to his baby steps. Because I always felt that I was never making headway. Yeah, I pay debt off, but then all of a sudden something would happen and I'm in debt again. And sometimes the motor goes, the transmission goes, the dishwasher goes. Yes, I had an emergency fund sometimes, but you know something? When saving is not a priority, then you won't save. But when you watch your savings grow, it becomes a priority, and that's my whole point. Now, I initially talked earlier about another point that he was talking about in his 7 steps here. And that was to invest 15% of your household income. That's actually brilliant. I sat down and figured it out. The Canadian government allows you to, I think, put away 17% of your gross pay towards RRSPs, which is like retirement savings account in Canada. If you did that from your initial working years, I think you can retire by 50 or 55 and you're wealthy beyond belief with the right investments. That's why I think that 10 or 15% is actually brilliant. I love that. I love that a lot. And it will let you see results very quickly that way. Now, paying off your home early, yeah, I think it's important because his final point is to build wealth and give. And this is where I'm struggling a little bit too. I believe that you need to learn to give in step number 1. While you're building an emergency fund, whatever money you have coming in the door, let's say you have money coming in the door, give then. Learn to give when you haven't got. I remember once there's one guy who sat down with me about 10 years ago and said, Frank, you need to learn to give your way out of debt. And I went, what are you talking about? Learn to give your way out of debt? I don't understand it. And they're like, generosity is the key to riches. The day you learn to become generous with your wealth and learn to give, then you'll find that you'll get more wealth in your life. And I have found that to be abundantly true. Did I take this guy's advice right up the front? No, I didn't. It took me a few years for it to mull around in my brain. But about 5 years ago, I needed to give to get out of debt. And I never forgot that advice. So I started doing that. And I started giving more. And I based it upon the principle of giving at least 10% of your gross wages. That's what I was doing. And I gave more than that because I wanted to make more. Hey, it was a selfish endeavor. I'm not going to deny it. But you know something? Within 3 months, my salary and my income on a monthly basis raised up to match what I was giving, like at 10%. So I was making more of the 90%. That's when I realized, wow, this is powerful. So I've always made sure I've given all the way through this journey. Hey, could I have saved a lot more? Could I have put away a lot more? Could I have paid off things faster? Could I have done this? Could I have done that? Maybe. But I've actually come to believe that learning to give should be a priority in step number 1, not number 7, not at the end when you got wealth. When you got wealth, definitely give more. Definitely. If you're able to give more, give more. As I've learned to make more money and I've learned to make myself worth more and to make more on a daily basis, I give more. Absolutely. I believe that's critically important. Otherwise, I think you're going to always be poor. You're going to be living this debt cycle. So hopefully this helps you. Sorry, Dave, I don't agree with everything you have to say. I think your advice, though, helps millions of people, and I think it's brilliant. But in the one place that I really had struggled with for a long time, and I eventually kind of put my sticky on it and realized I found my own way because I was able to see the power of saving. And hopefully this helps you. Hey, if you've enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe. Hey, become a subscriber of this channel. And I'll be sure to give you the very best of what I know to help you put a nest egg together that is scary big. Scary big. I want to see everybody, but I care that you actually find a way to find your wealth. This is Frank Thomas, and I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.